Welcome to How Good Is. Today we're going to take a look at Final Oriko. Now if you want just the TLDR for this unit is basically that overall she's fine, but there's not really anything that she's super duper good at, and the one thing that is special to her is the same thing that's special to normal Oriko also. So overall a rather lukewarm unit, maybe not the best out there, but if you want the longer form talk about what actually is up with this character. Well, here's the thing, we thought that because of her look and the way that her Magia is named and everything, we thought that Kirika was gonna die, but actually as it turns out, you know that normal Oriko's outfit is white because she believes herself to be innocent and pure and everything that is good basically, but she has Kirika basically do all the dirty work for her, and because of Kirika's wish, that means that Kirika is now looking the way that Oriko assumes someone who does these evil deeds should look like. So Kirika is looking like Oriko's version of someone who does evil and someone who gets their hands dirty basically. So in this event, Oriko herself has decided to get her hands dirty and commit evil, and therefore she's now half black. And that is why she looks like that, and that is why the Magia is Vampire Ray, which it's got Kirika's Magia name in there, and why Sotia, her doppel, almost kind of looks a bit like it was her normal Sotia doppel fused with Latria, which is the doppel of Kirika. So no, the whole Kirika's dead thing was actually a bait. She just is deciding herself to kill people now, and that is why she now looks a bit like Kirika. Okay, but talking about the actual unit itself, I guess everything that comes now is going to be less interesting than what I just said. But yeah, she's an Exceed unit, which basically means that she already is completely gimped on NP generation. But in return, she gets an EX skill, but we'll talk about the EX skill in a second. Basically, Magia types, if you have Magia type, you get, or a support type, actually gets a lot of MP for using your own Excel discs or your charge discs, which also generates some MP. But anything less than that, maybe like attack, defense is even worse, generates a lot less MP with your Excel discs. You can look at the type modifiers in here, I'm going to show it again this time. So overall, she's already receiving less MP through her Excel discs already just by her type. And if I tell you now that she's supposed to be a Magia-focused character, you can already kind of tell that, oh yeah, maybe that's already a pretty bad thing about her. Moving on, well, I can't actually show you personal because it's not on here yet, but it has a monopolized draw, so it's just an active. When you use it, it draws all of Final Oriko's discs, which if you use her in a team environment is really good, but she exceeds best at being solo. She's actually best played solo, so having a monopolized draw personal does nothing for that. But I guess if you do decide to play her in a team, then I guess you still have monopolized draw. Attack overall is really high. The other stuff doesn't really matter much. HP and defense doesn't matter at all because you're not gonna get hit. At least that's your idea. You don't want to get hit with this unit ever, and you won't ever get hit with this unit ever if you play it correctly. So the only thing that really matters is attack, and it's really high. So that's great. Moving on, she does have an EX skill for being an Exceed unit. Basically, she just has another 2 passives onto herself that are basically, you could put all these EX skills up there into the Spirit Enhancement column and it wouldn't change much. So you could just assume these are just 2 additional EX skill nodes, basically, SE nodes. What do you get? You get Evade. By the way, it is stronger at 4 slots. You get Evade and you get Regenerate MP. She kind of needs the Regenerate MP to make up for getting less MP through Excel discs, so this is a nice way of getting a little bit more out of it to sort of counteract the downside, and it does a really good job at that. And of course you have Evade because we're going to see a whole bunch of Evade. The Connect, which like I said, since you mostly want to play her solo, won't really do much. It gives attack up, it gives Excel up, which is really nice, and critical hit, it's only a chance, it's not 100%. So this is, I guess you give this to someone in a Magia team, but if you give it to someone in a Magia team, they want to use Magia and Doppel, but Magias and Doppels can't crit. So either you give this to someone who wants to get to Magia, but then the crit won't really do that much, or you give it to someone in like an attack focused team, like in a Blaster team, and why are you playing her in a Blaster team? That makes absolutely no sense. Yeah, crit is mostly just for Blaster teams, so I don't know, kind of not really useful. He's got the attack up, but yeah, like I said, the Connect really isn't that important. Let's jump straight to the Doppel. Like I said, she's a Magia focused unit, so we don't really need to care much about Magia. You're going to Doppel almost all the time, unless you don't want to actually unlock Doppel with her, and you might have done something similar to this on regular Oriko. Regular Oriko, you might actually not want to get her Doppel, so that you get more turns of evade with less MP cost, but, and this is the important part about final Oriko, when she uses her Doppel over Magia, she actually gets 2 turns of evade instead of just 1 turn. So you actually do want to get her to Doppel instead of just trying to get one Magia after the other, so that's really good. I could look up if regular Oriko has that as well. I don't think she does, but if she does, then you know what, I didn't look it up because it doesn't really matter too much in the end. It has attribute strength from damage, which, sure, that's fine. It has defense piece and ignore damage cut itself for 2 turns, which is fine, but you're not really gonna care too much about this. But the important part is you restore 49 MP to self, which of course gets increased if you have MP up Memoria, and you probably do want to have MP up Memoria. Now, before I actually talk about what you want to do with this Doppel, let's actually go with the Spirit Enhancement, because it also kind of plays into this. More Excel up, which, like I said, she needs to sort of counteract her already being on the back foot, which also she gets some more from her active. She starts the battle, any battle, with turn 1 evade, which is the same thing that Kanagi has basically in a similar way. So if you fight her in mirrors and you don't have any anti-evade, you're gonna be really sad, especially because then she uses her active to get another 100% evade for the next turn. So yeah, you definitely don't want to fight Final Oriko in mirrors if you don't have anyone with that can counteract evade. On that note, Anime Miyachi, like what I always bring up with being the one unit to solve mirrors forever, at least like normal mirrors, has passive anti-evade 100% on turn 1, so you don't need to worry about that. But at least if you want to play her yourself in solo mirrors, or if you see her and you don't have anti-evade, keep all of that in mind. Next up, she has chance to anti-counter, which I have no idea why. So let's just move on. She has increased market damage nodes, which is fine. That's good. The important part is that she has full gauge overdrive, and the important part of the reason why that's important is because, of course, she's going to be evading a lot, and if you're evading every single hit, you're going to keep that 30% attack quite a lot longer than you otherwise would. And comparing that to her base attack, you'll see that she actually does get a crap ton of attack from all of this, which is really nice. Now, what if someone is trying to counter your evade or your full gauge drive with Status Ailment, like Burn or Poison? Well, you negate the first 2 Status Ailments in a fight, so that actually helps of counteracting that. And you can definitely see that, yeah, with her active also being an evade, she's basically just going to be like, hey, you can't hit me, you can't hit me, you can't hit me, while she's sticking around with really high attack and tries to throw out really high attack Magias and Doppels, specifically Doppels, and she's trying to sort of counteract being taken out of evade, which is basically the very same thing that Vampire Kanagi did. And also, like Vampire Kanagi, she has a regenerate MP to self. So you can very much see she's very much like a Vampire Kanagi. What makes her worse, though, is the fact that she just doesn't really buff anything, and the effects that she gets from here are kind of like you don't really care too much about this, all of these different effects, so that kind of sucks. Also, Vampire Kanagi really isn't played anymore, because well, she used to be extremely important in mirrors, but then Mirrors said, hey, you know what, we're gonna have this new rule set, and the new rule set was about using charge discs as well, and if in an environment where you also want to use charge discs and charge draw, having a character with 2 charge discs that doesn't actually want to use charge discs is really bad. So she got cycled out for someone like Tanayachi. And it's gonna be the same here. You don't want to play her in mirrors because she screws up your charge draws because she has 2 charge discs, so that sucks. What is she going to do in Kimochi? I mean, she has average strength and damage against Kimochi, but that's about it. I mean, MP restores, you can do it more often, fine. But he doesn't have any good buffs. She has, like, these buffs don't really matter against Kimochi whatsoever. So you would really instead would like to have someone who buffs their own attack, damage up, Magia damage up, double damage up, anything. Just give me someone who has any buffs to themselves or to the team on their double, but having someone who gives absolutely no buffs, I mean, she's still usable, okay? She's still usable because attribute strength and damage, but that's about it. Also keep in mind that, like I said, because she doesn't have Magia type or even support type or any other type with really high Excel bonuses, her actual MP generation is deceptively low. It's actually deceptively low. She has 30% less MP from Excel disc compared to a Magia type character, just through typing alone. That is pretty darn fucking hefty, okay? At least she makes up a little bit of that with the Regenerate MP EX skill. So yeah, overall you can kind of see that, yeah, she has some cool stuff she can do here and there, but where are her strengths, okay? Now here's where her strength is. Of course, evade cheesing. you can go into either 100 evils. You're forced to take 2 other characters with you, but like take like level 1 characters with you and like have them die. So you have solo final Oriko against 100 evils. You're going to be able, with all the regen MP, with ACA combos, hopefully a lot of passive memoria that you have on you, like the nighttime memoria that gives NP up, some memoria that gives XL MP up, some more actives that give XL MP gain up and MP gain up, all those NP bonuses, so that you can do doppel, and then with the MP restore and the fact that it gives you evade for 2 turns, get another doppel in another turn, which you can indeed do. So you do doppel AA, like 2 XL discs, and then next turn you do ACA. Then at the end of that turn, you're going to be out of evade, but then the very next turn, you should have your doppel ready again, so you can do a doppel again, doppel AA, and then ACA, and you just sort of do that every single time, and you should be able to just evade forever. And if you ever like notice that, oh shit, something's happening, I can't evade right now, then you can use your active still. And if you're worrying about stealth aimants, you can maybe swap in some stealth aimant resistance memos, and you also just natively resist 2 stealth aimants. So overall, it seems, hey, this is a pretty nice thing to do, to just evade cheese 100 evils or paradox, what is it called? Elimination battles, the elimination battles where you have to fight against the 5 super duper witches, one after another, and you can evade cheese one of them with that. And you might think to yourself, hey, that's actually a really cool thing that you can evade cheese, at least like that's like a guaranteed victory against one of the 5 witches in extermination battle, and it's like almost a guaranteed victory on most 100 evils. Like the few 100 evils that might be really, really hard are those where enemies have a crap ton of stealth aimants, where your shield is just gone immediately, and then they keep eating through you, and just your stealth aim resistance is not going to be high enough to actually do something about that. Those quests. But for the most part, you can cheese a lot of content with that. But here's the thing, regular Oriko can already do that. Especially if you have not actually unlocked doppel yet on regular Oriko, and you can keep spamming Magia. Regular Oriko also has MP restore to self on her Magia and doppel. So if you want to evade cheese, you can already do that with regular Oriko. It just requires a little bit more work, because you need to actually have good MP up and XL MP up memoria to keep making sure that you actually get back to Magia every single time, because you only have 1 turn to get back to Magia or doppel instead of just 2 turns with final Oriko. So yeah, final Oriko basically has the exact same niche that only regular Oriko has, which is permanent evade cheat, because I don't think anyone is able to do it as well, at least. I think there are characters that have like evade on Magia, but not like this well, because of MP restore to self on Magia. Being able to evade cheats for this long, basically permanently, only normal Oriko and final Oriko can do that. Final Oriko does it better. But if you're already evade cheesing with regular Oriko, do you really need to invest 4 slots and however many rolls into an upgrade just on the cheese strategy? I don't know about that. I really don't know about that. So is that the end of the story? Just don't roll for final Oriko, unless of course you're an Oriko fan. Shoutouts to Muffin. Well, there's still one other reason why you might want to roll for final Oriko, especially if you, the person watching this, is a whale. Because the Gacha Memoria is absolute fucking whale bait. It gives damage increase 15%, the yellow one, which is important because the yellow one is more rare and therefore harder to stack, and 30% double damage up, which is quite a fucking lot. That is actually an insane amount of double damage up, and together with the double damage increase is like a total of 45% passive damage up on every doppel, which otherwise you have like maybe 25 to 30%, usually 30% on better memoria, damage increases on Magia and doppel and all of those. But this is 45%, which is so much more, and the passive attack that it gives is also really fucking high. So you can tell that yeah, this is definitely a well-built memoria if you want to go Kimochi. Like most Kimochi are Magia focused or doppel focused. So for most Kimochi, yeah, whales are gonna go absolutely ham on this gacha just for this memoria. So I guess at the end of the day, this gacha is still gonna make money, not just from Oriko fans. Which, to be fair, if you're an Oriko fan, this is still a fine unit. Okay, this is I said this at the very beginning. She's not a bad unit. She's not a terrible unit. She's just sort of lukewarm. Okay. So if you're an Oriko fan, or if you are a whale, this is still a very good gacha. If you're not a whale, and if you're not a hardcore Oriko fan, yeah, there's really not much reason to roll for this. If that was the Hopkins, so hit subscribe and ring the bell, and I'll see you guys next time.